Good evening. So here, Dr. Ajaykummarpandey, Advocate Supreme Court of India, welcome you all to this legal episode, to this legal channel 4C Supreme Law. Today again we are going to discuss a very sensitive, a very publicized case related to suicide. Suicide is something very sad and takes away talents from us. But the hard fact is suicides are taking place. Here in front of me there is a newspaper which talks about the headline, Karnataka businessman kills self. Karnataka businessman kills self, names MLA in the suicide note. The MLA is from BJP. The businessman, as has been reported, was suffering some business losses to the tune of 1.5 crore, and he has left a suicide note where he has, along with 4 or 5 others, he has invested that money in a resort, and he was promised some monthly return, some profit. According to the police, the news report, he has not received, and he felt that the 4 person belonging to the resort as well as this BJP MLA who introduced him to these resort people are responsible for his death, and he has left a note, suicide note, naming all 4 and 5 of them, and has shot himself by revolver in his head. So that's the suicide. The another news which has hit the headline recently, about which you all are aware, that is of Tunisha Sharma, the famous Bollywood actress, and Mr. sheezankhan, who is the co-actor with the Bollywood actress, has been arrested on the charges of abetment of the suicide. So here I am bringing these 2 news and 2 contradictions. In the case of Tunisha Sharma, there is no suicide note. There is so far no circumstantial evidence to suggest that sheezankhan is responsible for the suicide of the Tunisha Sharma. And here there is a suicide note naming a person, establishing his relationship with the person, and still there is no FIR. And in the FIR, neither the businessman nor the 4 or 5 others people have been named so far. Maybe police is doing its investigation. They would decide to add name, delete name, or whatsoever. But what I'm trying to say, what is this case? Abetment to suicide. Suicide in itself is a crime. But that is only if the person survives after making an attempt of the suicide. That is a separate story. Here we are talking of the person has died by committing the suicide. Now, either he names someone, he doesn't name someone, the circumstances points out what certain actions leading to his suicide. So as per IPC, there become a case of abetment of suicide, which is the thing you have seen in the Tunisha Sharma case, that co-actor sheezankhan has been held responsible for the suicide of co-actor Tunisha Sharma. Now this is as per the section 306 of Indian Penal Code. If the crime of abetment of suicide is proved, then there is a jail term of up to 10 years, or there is a fine, or there are both. Now the question here arises, as I have taken for an example for discussion 2 different cases, one of Karnataka MLA and one of the Tunisha Sharma from the Bollywood. Now the question arises, how the court is going to determine whether the ex-person who has been alleged in the case of this abetment of suicide has any role or no role. Let's take some situation. You are in a business dispute with your partner and you are pressing for the money. Now your partners commit suicide. Are you responsible? You have fired certain staff from your organization, naming you or not naming you. Due to financial constraint, he decides to commit suicide. Are you responsible? You fire your maid or you shouted at your maid, he commits suicide. Are you responsible? There's a fight between husband and wife and the wife commits suicide. Is the husband responsible? So these are the things which is happening every day in a life. Now, how far an individual could be blamed for the suicide of third party, third person? I may have shouted, I may have said something in anger, I may have my own business grievances, I may have my money to be recovered. So should I stop asking for it? And if I ask and the person commits suicide, then am I responsible? Would I be charge sheeted, arrested under the abetment of suicide, that is section 306 of the penal code? So this is the prime question which we are going to discuss in today's episode. As far as the courts are concerned, when they are looking at the case of abetment of the suicide, there are three paramount things. There are three things they are going to look into it, or the prosecution has to prove it. First, was this a suicide or was this a murder? Murder is something different. Suicide is something different. So the first and foremost thing which courts needs to consider, was it a suicide or was it a death? Was it a murder? So once it is established that yes, this is the case of a suicide, then comes the issue of abetment of the suicide. Who are the people who have abetted to the crime, who have aided to the crime? To test that, the court is going to take into account the relationship of the person. And here, relationship may be there, may not be there, but unless and until there is not an active and direct involvement of the person in the act of the suicide, he is not responsible for commitment of suicide of the maid or the student or the various situations, the business partner which I have discussed above. So, evidence is to be evaluated to pronounce that death is a suicide or not. And on the basis of that defense, once it is pronounced that it is a suicide, then the intention of the person who has been accused of the crime is going to be tested. However, there is an exception when it comes to husband and wife. We will talk about this in another video. You be here. If you have not subscribed the channel yet, do subscribe the channel and also press the bell icon button to know the latest in Tunisha Sharma case. Because in both the cases are evolving, whether Karnataka MLA case or the Tunisha Sharma case. So we are going to keep a close eye on the investigation part and will keep you updated from the law point of view. That's what we do at 4C Supreme Law International. Do watch us and let us know your feedback in the comment box. So now the question is, the court is going to examine the intention of the person once it is proved, it is pronounced that it is a case of the suicide. Now, the intention is to be determined by the acts of the accused, which has, and there is a clear-cut multiples of Supreme Court rulings that how the acts of the accused is going to be determined. One such case which comes to my mind handy is that of Sanjay Kumar Singh versus the state of Madhya Pradesh, in which the court, Supreme Court, the apex court has categorically said that mere utterance of an statement or a comment in a haste or anger can't be termed as, can't be classified as an act of direct involvement in the suicide. So there you got the point. If I may have said something in anger, I may have taken some steps like recovering my money, filed my suit, shouted at the student in my class for not performing in the examination, and he or she commits suicide. I am not responsible, my dear friend. I am not directly involved. The Supreme Court is very clear that for abatement of the suicide, there has to be a direct involvement. I must be benefiting out of it. There must have to have an intention that if the person dies, I may have some benefit out of it. I intend him to die. So, there is another ruling of 2017 in which the apex court has also said the criteria to determine instigation and involvement of the accused must be connected. Both instigation and involvement must be connected, and connected very strongly with no iota of doubt. And any remoteness in the feature would be insufficient to charge the accused with the offense. If my role is remote, I can't be charged with this offense. Maybe there are 1,000 factors. I could have been this one very little one which would have hurt that person, leading to the various other causes, which was already there. Then I am not responsible for it. Instigation. Now, the Supreme Court in this order defines what is instigation. They say instigation has to be certain, has to be continual, happening continuously over a reasonable period of time. In case of Tunisha Sharma, the relationship in itself, Tunisha Sharma, the relationship itself, as I am told, was of 15 days. So, where is the question of involvement, of abatement of suicide? Anyhow, let's wait for the investigation and matter to come to the court. And last but not the least, the Supreme Court stresses suicide must also be a direct act of or a direct consequences of my instigation and cannot be a mere coincidence. I may have shouted in anger and he or she committed suicide. It's a coincidence. I am not responsible unless and until there is a direct consequence of my instigation. Yes. So the most important aspect while taking into consideration 1, suicide or death, 2, instigation, continual direct cause, and 3rd, the nature of the person who has committed the suicide, his or her mental state of affairs. If that person happens to be very sensitive person and reactive to the situation in a life, a very weak personality, then also that is going to go in the favor of the accused who have been named in the FIR for abating the crime, for abatement of the suicide. So on the basis of this, how the cases are decided when it comes to the abatement of the suicide, let's see how these 2 cases of Karnataka MLA and that of Tunisha Sharma going to unfold. Keep on watching. This is Dr. Ajaykummarpandey, Advocate, Supreme Court of India. We'll meet you again in new episode with a new topic. Thank you.